Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and today's video is everybody's favorite, where we look back on the month and see what we've colored. So I've got quite a few for today. So grab a drink, you guys, and let's look through them together. Okay, first up is Makiko Inatomi's Wild Mouse Yuri, or Wild Mouse Adventures. Not sure exactly. Really enjoyed this book a lot. This mouse is so fun. I'm going to zoom in just a touch more. Okay, so this was a 5-person buddy color. So I'm going to flash their pages up. They can all be found on Instagram, I think, except for one person. And so I'm going to tag their Instagrams. If they have a YouTube channel, I will also, but I don't think any of them do. But this is, I use Derwent Color Soft. Or no, Derwent Drawing Pencils. And I really, really like the muted color palette that pencil just gives, right? There isn't a lot of colors, but every color goes together beautifully. And I really like how this turned out. These images are just so fun. And like with all buddy colors, I'm always amazed at how we all see the picture differently and how the picture can transform given what mediums we use or what colors we use. So let's take a few moments and appreciate the ladies that colored with me. I'm going to flash them up on the screen here. Thank you so much, ladies. I really had a fun time doing this buddy color, and hopefully we can do it again in the future. Okay, next up, sorry for the glare. I'm changing the lighting system soon, so be patient with me. But next up is Benny Blue by Christine Karen. She also does Wildflower Folk, if that name sounds familiar. But I did a page in here. Here it is. So I did this page. And isn't he just the funnest? See all this shadow? I hate it so much. That will all be gone. I just got to get the lights set back up. So I use Finding the Girl colored pencils, which I really enjoy, and I'm very disappointed you can no longer get, because the Avazar London ones I just showed you, you can't get either. And I'm really bummed because those are two budget sets that I enjoyed very much. But I just think he's so stinking cute with his little burger and cupcake and apple and juice. So there isn't a whole lot to say. I used a little bit of white acrylic, like on the trees and such, highlights in his eyes. But otherwise, it's just pretty much straightforward. But I really want to finish this book. It's so cute. Still have quite a few more. Okay, so I needed a little bit of a palette cleanser. Hold this up. This is called Road Trip USA from Creative Haven. Let me back out just a little. In and out, right? By George Tofexis. Sorry, George. I know I probably messed that up. Here's just where I used those same Finding the Girl pencils, and I wrote down the number. These are the numbers that I put on my pencil to match, if you look on the side here, their color chart, because this is a color by number. So here I was just playing around, seeing how it worked out, and I just did the first page in here. I really enjoyed kind of taking a break from, sometimes I think we're always trying for the masterpiece, right? We want special effects. We want good lighting. We want perfect blends and all of that. And sometimes I think it's important to just take a step back and immerse yourself in the actual process. So for me, this picture was about the process. It was not about the outcome of the picture. Now, I very much like the outcome of the picture. I think it turned out fine. But it was less important to me than the actual doing. This was something I didn't have to think about the colors, right? Hardest thing I had to do was make that initial key, and then I was off, right? And now if I use those same pencils, I have that same color palette for everything. I'll probably use different mediums and different pencils. Now, a lot of these, because they have the smaller areas, I probably wouldn't use something like acrylic markers, but it might work well to use gel pens or like the Langau pens, Pip pens, maybe even alcohol markers. Some of these I think would, something like this would be easy to do with alcohol markers. Some of these that have the really tiny spaces, maybe not as much, but maybe you combine the alcohol with the other. So this is just something, somewhat of a palette cleanser. I don't know. It just intrigued me. So, okay. Next up is A Million Baby Animals by Lulu Mayo. Now, I have been using my Lulu books for experimentation, and I find that this works out really well because she has a mix of intricate pages like this one to more open and simple pages like this one. And it's decent paper, and it's not too big. So you can see my hand on there. It's probably like a 5x7-ish size, okay? Don't hold me to that because you've all seen me do the math. But this page was done 100% using Woomer acrylics. I wanted to see, could I do an entire page and be okay with it using acrylic marker? And for the most part, I think that I did. My biggest struggle with this page was like all of the black around, like the feathers and such. And the mushrooms, it's like, do you white it out? Do you not? If I remember right, I like whited out the birds and then decided I didn't like it. Y'all, I'm tired. I'm old. I can't remember, but I do know there is a video talking about the Woomer pencils, and I show this page, and I speak a little more intelligently about it because it was fresh in my mind, and this page is one of the first ones I did in June, and so, it's been a month. And with everything going on in my life right now, 1 month feels like 6. So, apologies. I do know I did just use the Woomer acrylic markers, which I liked very much. And I do a little review and show the case and all of the things. And then I just recently today did another review on some different acrylic markers. So if you're in the market for those, you may get a little information out of those videos that you find helpful. Now, this is a page I actually did in May. It was also a challenge on my Facebook group, and I used Pablo colored pencils on this one. Now, I was in a bit of a time crunch because I had committed to doing this challenge, and I didn't want to not do it, even though everything on my page, on the Facebook groups and all of that, these are just participate if you want. And it wasn't like a one-on-one buddy color. I don't think anyone would have been mad at me, but I felt the need to follow through with my commitment. So I did this page, so it is a little bit on the rush side. I could probably go in and add some white highlights and do different things. But overall, I really like the cool palette that I used, and the little critters are just cute enough to, you know, it's like when I give my dog a bad haircut. They're cute enough to pull it off, right? I don't cut Ellie, by the way. That was my other dog, Jazz. We're working our way into that. I may in the future. But anyway, this is A Million Baby Animals by Lulu Mayo. So there's that. Next up was a buddy color that I did, and I'm not going to tell you with you. She had a lot of big life things happen for her, and she wasn't really able to follow through. At some point she might be able to, and if that's the case, then I'll probably mention it again in another video. But this is the mythographic Wild Summer by Joseph Cadenbang, and I very much like this mythographic book. So here is the page that I did. Oh my gosh, I hate this lighting so much. Let's see if we can we improve it at all? Okay. It's just making me crazy, you all. Okay, but I used my Avazar London pencils in this. And I really like how it turned out. I did a little Posca pen just on some highlights, but overall, it was just done with pencil. It was pretty straightforward and a pretty easy color. But I really like this book quite a bit, and I'll probably leave it out because I'll probably do another one because, you know, summer. Okay. Next up is Goblins in the Hollow by Denise Klett. Denise has quite a few cute books, and this is one of her newest ones. Is it her newest one? I think it is her newest one. And I colored this page, and I used Avazar London pencils because they were out. But I enjoyed coloring this one. I know it's a very limited palette, but I feel like it turned out pretty well. There isn't a whole lot I would change. Now, I could go in and darken up the background, and that might make them pop a little bit more, or maybe put a little more visual interest in the tree. But overall, like I said earlier, I don't really feel like every page has to be that masterpiece, right? So I've done 2 in this book. It's stinking cute. I love all of her stuff. All right. Just seeing this book puts a smile on my face. I love this book so much. It is done by Lisa Lively, who is some type of mental health therapist, and she has created this book for her patients, and it has world life advice. And this month was take your medication as prescribed, but look at the cute pouty face. Now please disregard this little mark here, and that's me being an idiot. I know you all gasped because you were shocked. You were shocked, right? Of course you weren't. You expect this. You expect the bloopers and all of the things. But overall, once again, I have a very limited palette, and I used, are you sensing a theme here? Finding the girl pencils. Guys, I use the medium that I have out. A lot of times I'll look at it, and if it's got a palette I can work with, I'm like, okay, I'm in. Is this a note to myself that I probably should put all of my stuff away, so that forces me to actually go pick a medium instead of just being like, well, this one's on the table. I do put all my stuff away, you all. I do. But sometimes when I have time to color, I color, you know, back to back. And so they're already out. But if you haven't seen the flip through of this book, it's on my channel, and I did get the giggles during it, so be warned. But look at the pouty faces. Just look. Come on. Who can resist the little pouty animals? I just can't with it. They slay me every time. So I will continue to color in this book for sure. Okay, next up is a buddy color with my friend Christine. I will post hers up when I'm done chatting about this. Now, this is by Fabiana Atanasio. She also does mythographic books, but I very much enjoy her fairy tales that she does kind of on her own. She's the one that I have her Peter Pan book, and she has a Wizard of Oz, a Pinocchio. She has like 5 or 6 different ones, but I adore her style. And she has some new ones out on Etsy. I think there's four new images out right now. And I downloaded Ariel because Christine and I wanted to do a buddy color. Now, I used Pan Pastel and Avazar London. Okay. I really need to challenge myself. But guys, I really enjoy the pencils. They have a good palette. So I don't know. Like I said, whatever's out on my desk. But I did print this on Nina paper, and I believe I used some of the new Pan Pastels, and they're very pretty. There are some amazing new colors out. If you're new to Pan Pastels, or you didn't realize they have new colors, there's a video out on the channel that talks about it, but enabler alert, because you may just want some of them, because there are some really nice new colors. Okay. Next up is Fairy Tales and Folklore. This is by Emily Lyda Hall Oberg, and I think I even still have the paper in here. This is a really, really big buddy color. So I don't know, there's something like 40 or 50 people that are doing this, and there's like a whole Instagram thread and all of that kind of stuff. But it keeps me, this one and her other book, Fairy Tales, it's just called Fairy Tales. Every other month there's a page out of this one. On the alternating month, there's a page out of the other one. I joined both because I really like these books, and it really kind of keeps me pushing on in the books. And it's by people just vote, and the most vote get the page for the next, cycle. Now, this was done with Pan Pastels in the background and then Prismacolor over the top. Now, I'm going to zoom you in, because sometimes when you first see it, you don't realize how that this is actually purple on all the tips, right? And I really wanted to bring that to the table. What I did struggle with was the Pan Pastel in the background. And I whited out my lemons, and I'm not 100% sure I really like that. Sometimes I don't like when things are whited out. Now, I was going for kind of first I just used kind of this gray with some green, right? I just wanted kind of, maybe I would have gotten a better result with maybe like Neocolor 2s. I wanted that kind of look that you get at a photography studio with the the background, right? Because I wanted the lemons and the flowers to be the focal point of this page. However, it looked dirty. It looked dingy. I must have mixed some warm and cool in that, and it just did not play the way I wanted it to play. So then I erased all that, and then I went in with some purple, and then I just felt like it was too much purple. So I erased that again. This is the benefit to pan pastels. And I went in, and so you can see here, there's a little bit of purple, a little blue, a little yellow. Here's a little yellow. We've got some pink down here. And it's a pretty subtle background. I will say I like it better in person than I do when I look in the camera. Because when I look in the camera, it looks washed out. And I do feel like it might have benefited from me going a little darker. But at this point, I was over it. I just was over it. And there is a limit on what happens when you erase, because some colors are a little more staining. And so if you put down like this yellowy orange color here, and it stains a little bit, and then you try and put something like a purpley blue over the top of it, you're going to get muddy gray brown, right? And so I debated on whitening out the edges here of these flowers and stuff, and chose not to, and I'm glad I did. So this is on my I'm not in love with it, but I can live with it page. But anyway, as another side note, I wasn't careful, and I got workable fixative on this side when I sealed this, and so this side will have a little more tooth, which can be a good or a bad thing. But anyway, that's Fairy Tales and Folklore by Emily Lidehall Oberg, which is the Sagor, Sagner Oxagnor? Is that how you say it? I don't know, but it's a reprint of that book, which I was super excited about because I wanted that book so bad. Okay, and then finally we're going to end with Mino Risa Dirce Africa. This is my project book on the channel, so I will be coloring every page in this to completion. Every page will get colored. Okay, so here are the two pages. I'm going to move them over one at a time. So this is page 18, and I used the exact same colors for both. I used, I have it right here, Art Deco nail art, right? So it has, let me get it, because my life is a blooper reel. Don't do it over your pages. But see how long the brush is? And it was sitting on my table, and I thought that is exactly what I was looking for to add a little bit of the bling, right? So I wanted it to be a little bit subtle. This, I did add a little bit of the iridescent medium, right, on the leaves. No, I take that back. This was like a Winka Stella, which essentially it's all the same thing. Those iridescent, you can get them in the pens. Do I have a pen? Look at this. So cute. This is where I keep these. But I think it was this one, the Zig Winka Stella. See how it's got a little bit of gold in it? So that's, you know, it's just a brush, right? And I brushed it on over these wings because dragonflies. Now, if you watch my channel on the regular, when I work in this book, I I color the page, and then I voice over and I talk about whatever we're coloring. So there's lots of fun facts about dragonflies when we did this page. And when I did this page, we talked about crocodiles and palm trees. And I find it very interesting. I learn a lot. But when I had originally done this, I didn't have any of the gold. Now, I talked about it. I talked about when I was doing this page, I said I might add it later because I had a feeling I was going to use gold on this page. But I used the same color palette for both, and I used Polychromos colored pencils. So those are on the channel. So that is it for this month. I colored 12 pages. Super proud of myself. I think part of the reason I got more pages done is because in the past, I've always tried to color almost everything I color on the channel. Well, that takes time to voice over and edit and do things. And so I'm finding this to be a nice mix. What do you guys think? Are you okay with seeing pictures that I've colored that aren't on the channel? Would you like more of them? What are your thoughts on this? Please comment. Let me know. If you want to join the Facebook group, it's a very active group, lovely group of people that color, that are supportive and kind to each other. As far as like, you don't have to like friend people or do anything like that. I'll put a link in the description box. If you decide to join the group, you do have to answer 3 questions and agree to the rules. You know, I think the rule is be kind and don't copy, like honor copyright or something like that. But the reason I do that is because it keeps spammers out. And so it's an automatic thing. If you don't answer the questions, you get rejected when you ask to join. And it's simply just to keep spam and people that are not truly into coloring from coming in and hitting on you or saying rude things. So that's why I do that. But it's an intimate group, meaning it's small and you can feel safe sharing your work, asking questions, and really encouraging other colorists. I enjoy it so much. Membership is always there if you want to support me in my channel and have some fun. So until next time, happy coloring.